Good morning, everybody. We're going to start our next lesson for this week. We're going to be talking about measurements this week. We're going to talk about customary, we're going to talk about metric, and we're going to talk about how to go back and forth between the two of them. So today we're going to take a look at customary measurements, what they mean, what the conversion factors are, how we can identify them, and then how we can convert from one to the other. So let's go ahead and get started. So our lesson 6.5 on customary measurements. Our learning target is I can identify and convert customary measurements to using proportions. So customary measurements is what we use in the United States, which actually is kind of a little frustrating because we're one of the only countries to use it, and the numbers really don't make all that much sense. I think ultimately we end up preferring the metric system when this lesson is over and done with. So when I'm using customary system, there are 3 different things that I can measure. I can measure length, which is distance. I can measure capacity, so how much space something takes up, and I can measure weight and how heavy something is. The labels listed are the ones that we're going to use. So our smallest length is 1 inch. I know that 1 foot is 12 inches. I know that 1 yard is 3 feet. And I know that 1 mile is 1,760 yards. More often than not, we do not use 1,760 yards for a mile. Instead, we use feet. So if I multiply that by 3, because there's 3 feet in a yard, I get 5,280 feet is in 1 mile. Now that example we just did, that's kind of something that we're going to be doing today. When I measure capacity, I have fluid ounces. 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint is 2 cups. 1 quart is 2 pints. And 1 gallon is 4 quarts. When I measure weight, I use ounces. 1 pound is 16 ounces. And 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So let's take a look at estimating with appropriate units first. So we want to know about, we're going to take a look at length first. We want to know about what is the distance of each of these things. Okay. So my choices are 15 football fields, forearm, paperclip, and the width of a door. So an inch is about the same length as what a paperclip is. Okay, so it's pretty small, or maybe you could say like the tip of your thumb. That's about 1 inch from the tip to the first knuckle. A foot would be your forearm. So that's like from your elbow to your wrist, or maybe to the tip of your fingers, depending on how tall or short you are. A yard would be the width of a door. So if you go look at a door right now, from one end of the door to the other, that's a width of a door. I also think about a hallway. Like usually our hallways in our houses are usually about 1 yard as well. And then a mile is 15 football fields. So that's pretty big. That's definitely the longest one. Okay. Now let's take a look at weight. So I'm going to match ounce, pound, and ton to soccer ball, slice of bread, and a walrus. So my ounce is the smallest one. That's about the slice of a bread. So if you pick up a piece of bread and hold it in your hand, that's what 1 ounce feels like. A pound is a soccer ball. Okay, so it's a little heavier. And then a ton would be a walrus. That's the biggest one. That's 2,000 pounds is 1 ton. All right, our next one that we're going to match up is our capacity. Now these ones are kind of tricky. I think the easiest way to think about capacity is when you're baking and you're using like cups and measuring utensils. I think it's also easy to think about like ice cream buckets or milk containers, right? There's a whole bunch of different sizes. So we want to pair up the smallest one and then go to our largest one. So a fluid ounce is the smallest. Okay, a fluid ounce is the smallest. If you think of like a chapstick, like just a normal chapstick container, that's about like 1 fluid ounce. Okay, that's how much space 1 fluid ounce takes up. A cup would be like a juice glass or maybe like a coffee mug. A pint would be just like a normal sized bottle of water. A quart would be a can of motor oil, so a little bigger. And then a gallon would be like a gas can, like one of those like red gas cans. The smaller ones though, those big ones usually hold like 5 or 8 gallons, but a smaller red gas can, those hold about 1 gallon of gas. All right, converting. We're going to use our conversion factors to convert from one unit to the other. I think the easiest way to use this is to use proportions. Okay, we're going to use proportions Just like in our story problems for proportions, we want to make sure things are set up nice and neat and organized. So let's take a look at number 1. Number 1, I have 63 feet to yards. So the two things that I'm comparing is feet and yards. So I'm going to put feet on the top and yards on the bottom. Okay? Now I know that I have 63 feet and I don't know how many yards that is. Okay, I'm going to make sure that feet are on the top and I'm going to make sure yards are on the bottom. Now if I go back up to the top, I'm comparing feet and yards. So if I look right here, I know that 1 yard is 3 feet. So I'm going to use that information to solve my problem. 1 yard is 3 feet. So the feet go on the top, so that's 3 feet is 1 yard. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cross multiply. 3 times x is 3x. 63 times 1 is 63. Divide by 3 on both sides. And x equals 21 yards. So that means that 63 feet is the same as 21 yards. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2, I have 33 tons to pounds. So the two items I'm comparing is tons and pounds. Okay. So I'm going to keep tons on the top and I'm going to keep pounds on the bottom. So I have 33 tons is I don't know how many pounds. So I'm going to go back up to the top and I'm going to look for tons and pounds. So here we go, it's right here. 1 ton is 2 pounds. So those are the numbers I'm going to use. 1 ton is 2 pounds. So the 1 goes on the top because that's tons. And 2,000 goes on the bottom because it's 2,000 pounds. I can go ahead and I can cross multiply. Now 1 times x is just x. I don't have to have a 1 in front of it. And then 33 times 2,000 is 66,000. That's a lot of pounds. So 33 tons is 66,000 pounds. All right, let's take a look at our last one. Now this one's a little different, but we're going to start at the same. So right now I've got 32 cups and 7 fluid ounces is how many fluid ounces? So this piece right here, I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm going to kind of ignore it and leave it alone. What I want to do is I want to change my 32 cups into how many fluid ounces. So the things I'm comparing is cups with fluid ounces. So I'm going to keep cups on top and I'm going to put fluid ounces on the bottom. So I have 32 cups is I don't know how many fluid ounces. So I need to go up to the top and find my conversion rate of cups in fluid ounces. And here it is right here. So 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. So 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. So the 1 goes on the top because I want to keep cups on the top and 8 goes on the bottom. Fluid ounces stay on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cross multiply, and again it's a pretty easy one because 1 times x is just x, and then 32 times 8 is 256 fluid ounces. Now what I just did was I changed 32 cups into fluid ounces, but if we take a look at our problem, we had 32 cups and 7 fluid ounces. So I need to take my 7 and add it to my answer to get 263 fluid ounces. All right, that is it for our lesson for today. You have 2 IXLs you need to do. T1 should be pretty quick and simple. T3, you're going to have to set up proportions, cross multiply, and divide. As always, don't forget to message me if you have any questions. Peace.